Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail for the third time, a federal judge saying that the government had proven by clear and convincing evidence that there were no conditions of release that would ensure the safety of the community.
You won't believe what's happening to Diddy behind bars. The music mogul's latest court appearance has left everyone stunned, and the rumors swirling around his condition are downright chilling. Once one of the flashiest figures in the entertainment world, Sean Diddy Combs now looks like a shadow of his former self. What's really going on behind those prison walls? Buckle up, because this story is filled with twists, whispers of betrayal, and questions that will leave you wondering if there's more to the story than meets the eye.
So Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
When Diddy stepped into the Manhattan federal courtroom on December 18th, jaws hit the floor. Witnesses described him as astonishingly thinner and visibly gray. Gone was the confident, larger-than-life persona draped in designer suits and dripping in diamonds. In its place was a man almost unrecognizable, clad in a faded khaki prison jumpsuit, his face a stark display of exhaustion. One reporter, Elizabeth Milner, who was in the courtroom that day, put it bluntly, "The man who once flaunted a lavish lifestyle now looks astonishingly thinner, which is perhaps expected after months in a federal detention center." But the weight loss wasn't the only thing people noticed. Others remarked on his demeanor, describing it as distant, almost hollow, as if the spark that once defined him had been snuffed out.
Incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent until proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent until proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent until proven guilty.
This dramatic transformation is a far cry from the Diddy the world knew just a few months ago. Back in September, days before his arrest, he was spotted in Central Park, laughing with friends and playing hacky sack. Yes, hacky sack. The carefree mogul seemed untouchable, living his best life in the heart of New York City. Fast forward to now, and that image feels like a distant memory. Hacky Sack joins Tupac, discovered at 500,000 mics on YouTube, and is now on track to have about 2.5 million subscribers. The stark contrast between his vibrant public outings and the frail figure seen in court has sparked a wave of speculation about what's happening to him behind bars, and he's somehow still managed to rise above it. Some believe it's simply the harsh reality of life in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a facility notorious for its appalling conditions. Let's not sugarcoat it. This place is no five-star experience. Former inmates and experts have described it as a nightmare, with overcrowded cells, inedible food, and a lack of basic hygiene. It's a world away from the luxury Diddy once enjoyed. Michael Cohen, who once served time there, painted a grim picture. He's waking up on a steel bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, in an 8 by 10-foot cell that I can assure you is disgusting. Add to that the stress of preparing for a trial that could send him away for decades, and it's no wonder his physical and mental health are taking a toll. After several years of living in depression,
legitimate concern, no judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day, oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
But could there be more to this story than just the punishing environment of the detention center? That's where things get interesting. Whispers are circulating that Diddy's sudden decline might not be entirely natural. Some insiders are suggesting foul play, and the theories are as wild as they are chilling. One particularly juicy rumor claims that Diddy could have been poisoned by his own inner circle. Yes, you heard that right. The very people he trusted most might have turned on him in the ultimate betrayal. Why would they do this? Theories abound, but one stands out: fear. Diddy's legal troubles aren't just about him. They implicate a network of individuals tied to his alleged activities. With the stakes so high, some believe his associates might have seen him as a liability. After all, if he were to flip and cooperate with investigators, the fallout could be catastrophic for everyone involved. By silencing him, permanently or otherwise, they could protect themselves. It's a theory straight out of a Hollywood thriller, but given the stakes, it's not entirely out of the question.
That with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone. So,
adding fuel to the fire are reports that Diddy himself has voiced fears for his safety. Though details are murky, sources close to the case have hinted that he's expressed concerns about being targeted. These whispers have even reached his legal team, who have reportedly pushed for extra security measures. While officials have denied any immediate threats, it's hard to ignore the cloud of suspicion hanging over the situation. Then there's the question of timing. Diddy's visible decline coincides with a series of legal setbacks that have left him with fewer options and even more enemies. Just days before his most recent court appearance, a federal judge dismissed his claims that the government had leaked damaging evidence to the media. Diddy had alleged that surveillance footage from a 2016 incident involving his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura had been deliberately released to tarnish his reputation. The judge, however, wasn't convinced, ruling that there was insufficient evidence to support the claim. This ruling not only dealt a blow to Diddy's defense strategy, but also left him feeling more isolated than ever. Could it be that the pressures of his crumbling empire are finally catching up with him?
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
Of course, not everyone is buying into the conspiracy theories. Some argue that Diddy's condition is simply the result of a man unaccustomed to hardship suddenly thrust into one of the toughest environments imaginable. For years, he lived in a bubble of privilege, surrounded by luxury and adoration. Now he's facing the cold, hard reality of life behind bars, where even the simplest comforts are a distant memory. His attorney, Mark Agnafilo, offered a glimpse into the struggles Diddy is facing, noting that the food alone has been a major challenge. According to reports, his diet now consists of cereal, fruit, and something called a breakfast cake at dawn, followed by uninspiring lunches and dinners that are a far cry from the gourmet meals he once enjoyed. It's hardly the fuel needed to sustain a man fighting for his freedom.
Try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
But let's not forget who we're talking about here. This is Sean Diddy Combs, a man known for his resilience and ability to bounce back from adversity. His rise to fame wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. He fought for it, clawing his way to the top of the music industry and building an empire that seemed untouchable. If anyone has the grit to survive this ordeal, it's him. And yet, the question remains, at what cost? The physical and emotional toll of his current situation is evident, and with his trial still months away, it's unclear how much more he can endure. What's perhaps most shocking about this whole saga is how quickly fortunes can change. Just a year ago, Diddy was at the height of his powers, a symbol of success and excess in equal measure. Now he's a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of how fleeting fame and power can be. Whether his current condition is the result of foul play, the harsh realities of prison life, or simply the weight of his own actions catching up with him, one thing is clear: the world is watching, and the story is far from over.
Where his money could help us craft, he could build his separate jail cell, and we could keep him there. Just interesting to me that they sort of said, nope, you're going to be treated not like everybody else, but a lot like everybody else. Having money doesn't do it. So I wouldn't want to be those judges. There's sort of a no-win situation for the judge.
As rumors continue to swirl, one can't help but wonder how this will all end. Will Diddy emerge from this ordeal with his reputation and legacy intact, or will he become yet another fallen star, remembered more for his scandals than his successes? And perhaps the most pressing question of all, is he truly the victim of a sinister plot, or is this simply karma coming full circle? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: this is a story you won't want to miss. Stay tuned as the saga unfolds, because if there's one thing we've learned about Diddy, it's that nothing in his life is ever simple.
They can't move in the general population. And would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to, they want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus.
And just like that, the stage is set for the next chapter in this gripping tale. Diddy's dramatic transformation and the swirling rumors surrounding his condition are just the beginning. The deeper you look, the more questions arise, and the more layers of this story begin to unravel. But while the world focuses on his current state, it's impossible to ignore the shadow of his past. Could the very actions that built his empire be the same ones tearing it down? Let's dive deeper into the history of Sean Diddy Combs and explore the controversial events that have led him to this point. What comes next might just shock you even more.
So it sounded crazy, like I said before. They said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100. Which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
It's impossible to talk about Diddy's current state without diving into the controversies that have followed him for years. While his recent courtroom appearances have left everyone talking about his physical decline, it's his past that truly casts a long shadow over his present. The man who once built an empire of music, fashion, and influence has become a lightning rod for allegations and scandals, many of which have come back to haunt him in the most dramatic way imaginable. What's happening to Diddy now feels like something out of a Shakespearean tragedy, a powerful figure brought down by the very forces he once controlled. But is it karma, a calculated takedown, or something else entirely?
At the end of the day, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Diddy's history is as glittering as it is dark. For decades, he was one of the most untouchable figures in entertainment, a man who transformed himself from a scrappy intern at Uptown Records into one of the most influential moguls in the world. He wasn't just a businessman, he was a cultural architect. From launching the careers of legends like the notorious B.I.G. to creating Bad Boy Records, Diddy was the ultimate kingmaker. He built a brand synonymous with success, luxury, and power. Whether it was his infamous white party in the Hamptons or his sprawling business empire, everything he touched seemed larger than life. But behind the glitz, rumors always lingered. For years, whispers of questionable behavior followed him, but nothing ever stuck. He was the Teflon mogul. No matter what accusations surfaced, he always came out unscathed. For a long time, it seemed like Diddy's charm and influence were enough to deflect any serious scrutiny. But now, as the walls close in, those old stories are resurfacing, and they paint a picture of a man who may have been playing a very dangerous game all along. One of the most infamous accusations against Diddy revolves around the so-called freak-offs, elaborate gatherings that prosecutors claim were anything but innocent. According to court documents and various testimonies, these events were highly orchestrated, with participants allegedly coerced into taking part. Prosecutors argue that these weren't just parties. They were something much darker. The details are shocking and have led many to question just how far Diddy's influence extended in keeping such activities hidden for so long.
Did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
The allegations don't stop there. Over the years, several individuals have come forward with stories, each more disturbing than the last. In November 2023, Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner of over a decade, filed a lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the industry. While the case was settled within 24 hours, the damage was done. The lawsuit opened the floodgates, with more individuals coming forward, each sharing their own experiences. By December, Diddy was facing multiple lawsuits, each alleging a pattern of manipulation, coercion, and exploitation. And while his legal team has vigorously denied every accusation, even going so far as to call some of the claims fabricated, the sheer volume of allegations has been impossible to ignore.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault and at the hands of Diddy.
But here's where things get even more complicated. While Diddy is undoubtedly under fire, many are starting to wonder if the timing of these accusations is more than just coincidence. Is this a case of long overdue accountability, or is there something more strategic at play? Some insiders believe that Diddy's current situation might have more to do with power and revenge than actual justice. Think about it. When someone as powerful as Diddy falls, there are always people waiting in the wings to take his place. Could it be that his downfall is being orchestrated by those who stand to gain the most from his absence?
Not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants him mentioned.
Adding to the intrigue are the whispers that Diddy himself played a role in his own undoing. Over the years, he cultivated a reputation as a ruthless businessman, someone who wasn't afraid to burn bridges if it meant advancing his own interests. Former colleagues and associates have described him as brilliant but cutthroat, a man who always put himself first. And while that kind of mindset might work in the boardroom, it's a dangerous way to live when you're surrounded by people who know your secrets. Could it be that Diddy's relentless ambition made him more enemies than he realized? One of the most talked about theories is that Diddy's current predicament is the result of karma, a reckoning for years of alleged wrongdoing. For decades, he was seen as untouchable, a man who could bend the world to his will. But as the saying goes, what goes around comes around. Many of his critics are now pointing to his legal troubles as proof that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. They argue that his current struggles are a direct result of his own actions, a case of someone finally being held accountable for years of unchecked behavior. But not everyone sees it that way. Some believe that Diddy is being unfairly targeted, the victim of a system that loves nothing more than tearing down its icons. They point to the fact that many of the allegations against him are decades old, questioning why it's all coming to light now. Is it a case of people finally feeling empowered to speak out, or is there something more calculated behind the timing? And then there's the role of the media, which has been relentless in its coverage of Diddy's downfall. While some see this as a necessary spotlight on long-ignored issues, others argue that it's a feeding frenzy, with outlets competing to see who can dig up the most dirt.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
And let's not forget the role of public perception in all of this. For years, Diddy cultivated an image of invincibility. He wasn't just a mogul, he was a brand, a symbol of success and resilience. But now that image is crumbling, and it's not just because of the allegations. His transformation from a larger-than-life figure to a gaunt, visibly exhausted man fighting for his freedom has left many questioning how much of his public persona was real and how much was carefully curated. The contrast between the man he presented to the world and the man we see now is striking, and it raises an uncomfortable question. Was Diddy always this vulnerable, or has the pressure of his current situation finally broken him? As the world watches this story unfold, one thing is clear: Diddy's legacy is hanging by a thread. No matter how his legal battles play out, the court of public opinion has already turned against him. The allegations, the lawsuits, the rumors, it's all too much to ignore. And while his loyal supporters might still defend him, the broader public seems ready to move on, eager to see the next chapter in this unfolding drama.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
But here's the thing about Diddy. He's always been a master of reinvention. If anyone can find a way to turn things around, it's him. The question is, does he even want to? With his empire in shambles and his future uncertain, Diddy might be facing the toughest choice of his life. Does he fight to reclaim his throne, or does he step back and let the world move on without him? It's a decision that only he can make, and one that will define his legacy for years to come. As Diddy's saga continues to unfold, we can't help but wonder, is this truly the end of an era, or will he rise from the ashes like a phoenix? Could the rumors of betrayal from his inner circle be true, or is this all just a tragic case of karma catching up? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity gossip and updates. Until next time, stay tuned and stay curious.